Okay, hi guys. So welcome back to another episode of our new mini-series, kind of trying to answer all of the questions that you guys ask us. So the question today we got from Will, who says, is it possible to lose fat and gain lean muscle at the same time? Now this is a really common question. We do get asked this one quite a lot. And the answer is really layered. It's very complex, and we definitely won't be able to get through all of the things that we would love to talk about and keep this video less than 7 million years long. So we will try to answer it as thoroughly as we can and give you a solid answer. But this is definitely just going to be a scratching the surface kind of situation. So is it possible to lose fat and build muscle at the same time? Yes and no. It really is quite tricky. There are a number of studies that people have kind of conducted, and you can read all about them if you go into Google Scholar and kind of put in, is it possible to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time? But they all kind of come out with a similar sort of answer, which is where that has been the goal, that's been the objective, to lose body fat and to gain muscle. Body fat has been lost in most situations where there has been training and kind of training controls and dietary controls. And lean muscle has been gained, but the shifts have been very negligible. Where the focus has been building muscle, the muscle growth has been kind of substantially big enough to kind of categorically say, yes, it works. But the fat loss has been negligible. And likewise, where the fat loss has been the priority, the muscle gain, again, has been sort of negligible in its amounts of gains for it to be really worthwhile. So kind of, to me, it's not very efficient. It's not the best way of going about it. It's kind of like trying to achieve two entirely different goals at once. Fat loss generally requires a calorie deficit, eating less calories than you're burning off inside. And muscle gain, even lean muscle gain, does require a calorie surplus. And so to be able to do both at the same time really is quite tricky. So I personally would suggest that you focus on one of them and then the other. Generally, I think it's better to lose the body fat that you want to lose, and then gradually, really gradually, work to then increase your lean muscle mass from there. So gradually increase the amount of protein you eat, so that you see slow but consistent gains of muscle without regaining the fat that you've already lost. It is slower, but it's more efficient than trying to do both at once. Those are my thoughts. Matt?
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult because you are sort of looking, as you said, you're looking at two ends of the spectrum. To reduce fat, you're looking at a deficit, and to increase muscle mass, you're looking at being in a surplus. Most of these recomp type studies and plans and things like that, it tends to be a case of most of the week you will be in a sort of deficit. Not a massive one, just a slight one. And then there will be a day in the week or the cycle, whatever sort of one you're looking at, where you have what they call a refeed sort of day, which puts you back into a surplus. But the problem with that is, if you were to just lose the body fat, as Dom said, it's a lot quicker if you just focus on that, because you can just focus on being in a deficit. Whereas if you're trying to gain the muscle, as the question says, you need to be in a bit of a surplus. And a lot of those refeed sort of days aren't just a case of your typical, oh, let's go and have one of those cheat days where we just eat whatever we want. They are very heavily calculated and very specific. You need to eat this much, you need to eat this much protein, this much carb, this much fat. It's very scientifically put together. So yes, it is possible, but as Don's already said, it's very slow, and most people will not stick to it.
Yeah.
Because they will see that refeed day as just a case of, let's just eat.
Yeah, it's much harder than it sounds. Whether you're a beginner to exercise and dieting, or whether you've been training for years and years and years, it is much harder than it seems to lose fat and gain lean muscle. So yeah, we recommend that you kind of focus on one, especially if you kind of focus on that losing the body fat that you want to lose first, whilst maintaining the muscle that you've got. So that once you've lost the kind of the amount of fat mass that you want to lose, you can then just gradually, like I said, increase the protein intake and increase the amount of weights that you lift, so that you are able to kind of build the physique that you want to build, as opposed to trying to stretch yourself too thin in two directions at once.
Yeah, because this is all done through diet. Yes, you have to exercise as well, but most of the work here is diet.
Yeah, so that's another important thing to think about. Whether it is fat loss or muscle gain, your diet is far more important than your exercise. In general, you want to be kind of focusing on two elements: your protein intake and your calorie intake. That's a really easy way to look at things. Make sure that you're getting enough protein to maintain the muscle that you've got, and make sure that you are, if it's fat loss, you are consuming as few calories or fewer calories than you're burning, but still eating enough to have enough energy through the day. You want to eat as much as you can while still losing weight, but yeah, there does need to be a deficit of some kind. So those are our thoughts on can you lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. That is a really quick whistle-stop tour. If you want to come in and chat to us more, and you've got several hours to spare, then feel free to come in and we'll boil the kettle and we'll take you through all of it. But yeah, there you go. There's our answer. Yes, but no.
I see why you stood closer, because you look taller.